Hello and welcome to our spot video for Friday, July the 10th. Weekend's beginning. I hope you're off work the weekend and can enjoy something over the weekend. Sounds like more of the same weather-wise, so we should be ready for it anyhow. John chapter 3, verse 3 is where I want to take our text this morning from. It says in verse 3, Jesus answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. The little child says, well, and the adult wonders, I'm sure, especially if they haven't been brought up through the church system at all, how can we be born again? I mean, we're only born one time. Where our parents had us, and we're born that one time. How can it happen again? Well, common sense says it can't that way. But I usually explain it. We get certain traits from our parents. I understand our eye color, our hair color, different times comes from our parents. Different traits that we have come from our parents. And when we're born again, we get different traits from God. In other words, the traits from our parents are this, this, and this, and we're likely to have the same type of things. And that's the same way it is with being born again. God is the master of salvation. And whenever we have the traits of God, whenever we accept Christ into our hearts, we have that salvation in our lives. We get traits from God, like living forever. We get traits from God that we can't get from mankind. And one of those traits is that we will live forever. That's the most important trait that we get from God. And the most important thing about the verse is not the traits that we get from God when we're born again, but the fact that we are born again and that we can miss hell. He says we cannot see the kingdom of God by living on the right side of the railroad tracks, by living in the right neighborhood, or driving the right car, or having the perfect job. None of that's wrong, all that's good, but it doesn't get us one step closer to heaven, not one. He said, except we be born again, there's no way we can enter into the kingdom of God. So the thing for me to examine is to make sure I've been born again by the Spirit of God, and that you examine your heart and that you're ready to go to heaven by, again, being born again, by making sure that we're saved, and not depending on our goodness outweighing our badness, because it doesn't. It doesn't. So as we go about this first day of the weekend, let's make it a good one, and let's make it a good one because we've stayed with God, realizing that we're going to graduate from this place whenever. We're going to graduate from this place, and we can have our home in the kingdom of God. Now, until we're together again, you make it a good day, and may God bless.